You're listening to OPIS Talks, where you'll be in on conversations with insiders in the energy, chemicals, and environmental commodities markets. Guests share insights into the latest trends and innovations, industry challenges, and much more. Let's dive into the conversations that explore where the energy economy is headed, right here on OPIS Talks.
Hello, my name is Keith Patterson. I'm with Axxis Software. I've been with Axxis for about 10 years now. I am the Director of Product Marketing. And I'm here today with Pete Phoebus, who's the VP of Transportation with Cato. In a moment, I'm going to have Pete introduce himself and tell us a little bit about himself and Cato. And then after that, we're going to have just a conversation about how the demographics of fuel truck drivers have changed and how that has created challenges for his business and also how he's addressing them. So with that being said, Pete, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Certainly, Keith. Thank you. Again, my name is Pete Phoebus, Vice President of Transportation with Cato Oil Company here in Salisbury, Maryland. We're a family-owned business, been in operation for well over 60 years. I've been with the company for 25 years. Started here as a truck driver, transport driver, working nights. Then moved my way up. They had a petroleum terminal at the time, and moved into that role, and then eventually into dispatching. And did a little sales for a couple of years. We got into biofuels and started selling some of that. And then just our transportation department grew somewhat. And so they moved me into that position and been here ever since. When I started here, we had a total of one transport truck, and I was on night shift, and my trainer, he was on during the day. And now we're up to, 18 trucks, trying to run them 24/7. Last year, we put on a little over 1 million miles, 1.2 million over the course of the year. So we've grown quite a bit in my time here. And it's a very good company to be with.
We certainly appreciate you taking the time to chat with us today. I've noticed, and I'm sure you have noticed, and I've been reading in the industry, that the driver population has been aging quite a bit in recent years, and there's becoming more and more of a need to attract younger drivers. What kind of specific challenges are you facing in attracting younger drivers to become fuel truck drivers?
Well, it's just the image of the standard truck driver mindset that people have, the bad boy, men-only club, always away from home, just the normal mindset that a lot of people have. One of the biggest challenges is trying to present it more like it is. It is a career path, and just trying to stress that. We work very closely with a community college here, local, that has a CDL program, and that's paid tremendous dividends on our end.
Yeah, so it's just the general image of the traditional view of a truck driver, which isn't really accurate for today's fuel truck drivers. Seems like it's presenting some challenges for you to overcome. So what measures have you taken, like flexible work schedules or improving the image, to attract these younger candidates?
Well, we do just that. As I mentioned, we work very closely with Warwick, with the community college. Myself, or my transportation manager, goes and does a presentation to every new class, CDL class there. And not so much, we're a relatively small company. We don't hire that many because we don't have any turnover, which is a good thing. But we just kind of go there to promote not only truck driving, but petroleum, and just let the new students know that, if they apply themselves and fulfill that role that they're involved in, and getting their CDLs and going ahead and getting the hazmat and all their endorsements, it'll pay tremendous dividends, and it's a good career path. It's many opportunities, not only driving trucks, but in our industry, I stress that our drivers can work and drive and deliver fuel well into their 60s and sometimes even 70s. That can't be said with other industries, and I'm not knocking those, but truck drivers that have to deliver case goods with hand carts and dollies, and that's kind of a young man's game. But our industry, the way we deliver fuel is you can do it for many years.
Yeah, the more experience they have, the more valuable they are to you because there's just less risk of spills and accidents, and they become more careful. So it definitely something that people can do for a long period of time. What type of scheduling, new types of schedule? I mean, back in the day, you just tell people, hey, if you want to work here, you're going to work these days, this shifts. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But what type of flexible scheduling now are you seeing that you're having to come up with to help retain these younger drivers?
Well, I most of the time, all the new hires that I do hire usually come in over, in PM shift, a second shift, a night shift. But with that said, I do offer, days of the weeks. We typically work 4, 10, 12-hour days and then 3 off. They can have the option of if picking up an extra day for overtime. We pay by the hour, or they have some drivers that like their 38.5 hours every week, and that's great. And they like their home life. And we stress that, families first. If your kids getting into high school soccer or whatever sports, we can adjust their start time to try to accommodate so they can attend some of these games. And sometimes it doesn't work out, but we try very, very hard to accommodate these special, events through life.
It sounds like obtaining some work-life balance is important to attracting and keeping these younger drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that ranks up there close to pay, if not sometimes, some cases, more so than the salaries that we offer.
Yeah, that's a real change in the industry and has to present some scheduling challenges for you that you have to be more flexible as an employer.
Yeah, I kind of do the 4 days. We've got really fortunate and hired some part-time guys that work for county governments that they also work 4 10-hour days Monday through Thursday and just 40 hours a week, and they have their CDLs, and I brought them on to work Friday and Saturday, kind of our busy times anyway. And they have available hours of service for those shifts, and that's helped out quite a bit. We've done a really good job kind of filling in all the pieces and not just looking at full-time Monday through Friday. We just try to utilize these trucks as best we can.
Are you finding that the younger drivers are wanting more technology, and if you have technology available to them in their work life, that's a tool for attracting younger drivers? Traditionally, some of the older drivers had been reluctant to use technology, but is the technology actually a positive for the younger drivers?
Absolutely. The more tech, I guess, and I'm far from tech guy, but they've become very, very smart. Whether it's the ELG, the electronic logging device that we put in, the Samsara unit, the GPS, the tablets that we use, it's all, real-time information. It's really providing us real-time information on safety and speeding and just everything involved. And we really emphasize all of that when we do their presentation and any new hires that we hire and ongoing. But yeah, the technology piece is really intriguing. What I've started doing with some of our existing drivers is taking these guys. We just took 3 drivers to the Volvo plant down in Virginia, manufacturing plant, and just to kind of open their eyes and show them how much technology is just to build these trucks and what goes into them. And hopefully my thought is when they come back, drivers love to talk and they talk with each other, and hopefully they spread the word of how smart these trucks are, and also twofold is they hopefully will take better care of these pieces of equipment, these trucks that cost, many thousands of dollars.
Yeah, it sounds like technology and getting them introduced into technology and the flexible working schedule are some of the tools that you're using to engage and recruit younger drivers. Are there other things that you'd like to share that you can think of as far as what you're using as tools or considering using as tools to attract people to this career?
A few years ago, and again, I can't stress enough, that's probably the biggest thing that we've done is really we got lockstep with our community college. The director there works great with us. But what we've started doing with his direction and with his blessing, the community college is these new classes as they go along. It's an 8-week program to get a Class A tractor trailer license. Throughout that class, he'll pick out a couple students that really they show some dedication and really want to learn and excel. So Cato offers to take one or two of these students, and during their class day, they get credit through the community college, and we'll take them. They'll meet one of our drivers at 5:00 in the morning and go out on the road. And it's kind of a life and day of a Cato fuel hauler. We've got quite a good response out of that, just tag along or ride along with the students.
Well, you get test number 1 out of the way, which is can the young guy show up at 5:00 in the morning? How do you get them over the fear that they might have of being a less experienced driver and dealing with hazardous materials?
Just basically just tell them, again, I've driven, and that's where I've started my career, and just re-emphasizing the safety that we put in. When we order these new trucks, we order all the new safety equipment, collision avoidance systems, lane departure, anti-rollover, all of it wrapped up, and I bring up our CSA scores in front of the class, and knock on wood, we do carry a very good safety score through the Federal Motor Carrier Administration. So again, we stress safety, we promote it, and be upfront with them that there's some other companies out there that don't do the same, and suggest when they do graduate and get their CDLs, don't jump at the first opportunity. Be selective on their end to get a reputable company, a good company that they can grow in.
Yeah, it sounds like most things in life that are perceived to be dangerous, the more education you can get and the more you can get your processes down, the more comfortable you get with it.
That's absolutely the truth.
Switching gears just a little bit, but as far as benefits and incentives, we touched on a little bit that some of the work schedule may be as important as the pay. What other type benefits and incentives have you found to be effective in attracting and retaining fuel truck drivers?
Yeah, again, the flexible work schedule, the 4 days on, 3 days off is very appealing. We do roll in. We've put a lot of time in putting the safety bonus together. I just put that in place about 2 years ago. And before we put any financial gains on that, we just rolled it out, and I published it every week, the rankings. And it was amazing how much talk it was around the office, the drivers, just the camaraderie and everybody wants to be on top. And that was just without any financial gains. And that has really moved the needle on on the Cato drivers and the appeal of it.
Sounds like overall that you're building a good culture to attract and retain people. And then with public outreach, you're getting the word out there. It almost reminds me of what builders have done to attract new electricians, plumbers, heat and HVAC people, working with the community college and educating young people about the benefits of this type of career.
Yes, and again, they I've got drivers, as I mentioned, that are at 60 and 70 years old and love to drive, but stress to the new drivers out there that that's an opportunity and there's nothing wrong with that. But there is also a path as I've taken to become into management, and I just recommend of whatever industry that they choose is to learn everything that they can about that, and that would pay tenfold for them.
It's much more effective and persuasive when you are talking to someone that you're presenting them all the options and that yours is just one of them. I think that's a real smart approach. What do you see any future challenges that are coming up on the horizon for the fuel transportation energy industry in general?
Well, I've always got my eyes on the regulations. The regulations are being very strict and rightfully so, that we were hauling very hazardous material and dangerous, but the push for electrification, but it's becoming very interesting. It's always has been, but even more so now with the technology and it's a challenge.
Yeah, sure is. Well, it sounds like you guys are doing a good job of staying on top of it and being proactive. Is there any advice that you could give to other employers who are in the industry who are struggling to recruit and retain drivers, especially young drivers?
Well, the biggest thing, again, would be if they're fortunate enough to be close by to a community college. I know the Maryland Motor Truck that we were part of, they're really pushing out bringing truck driving to high school to just promote that before the high school seniors graduate, have that mindset that they could go to community college and just work closely with them. That again, we don't hire many drivers, but I haven't put an ad in the paper, advertised for drivers in quite a few years, which, I'm very fortunate and very thankful for that. When we go into the colleges and we don't hire drivers right away, I've had students come back 2 or 3 years after they graduated and found jobs elsewhere. But they've always had Cato on their mind, that we took the time to spend talking to the class, and they've always been intrigued with the petroleum, with Cato as a whole, and they filled out applications 2 or 3 years after they graduated. So just keeping the companies involved in the community colleges is the best thing, I think.
Well, that's really about all I have today. Really, my thoughts after listening to you, Pete, is that you guys are being proactive and using technology and education and community involvement to attract drivers, and sound like you're doing a really good job of that. And I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today. Are there any other thoughts that you would like to share with us?
No, I think we pretty much covered all the bases. I appreciate you, Keith, and asking me, and anything that I can do, I'm more than happy to. I love promoting trucking and drivers and whatever I can do, I love to do.
Well, great, Pete. Thanks again.
We hope you've enjoyed today's Insider Conversation on OPIS Talks. Join us next time for a deep dive into another industry insider's world. You can find more OPIS Talks episodes at opisnet.com/podcasts or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.